soon ready to go. Yes, I'm getting DJ.
My name is Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. We have employed state-of-the-art technology using fiber optic cable across the island of Nevis and using CCTV surveillance. The idea here is a commitment from my government to have a safer and more secure island for our citizens and residents. And so this was a massive investment made by us in running fiber optic cable across the island and putting in cameras and in commissioning just recently this center, which acts as a nerve center for the entire system island-wide. We are taking and using technology to take security to the next level here on the island of Nevis, and we're very proud about this collaboration that we've done to create for the island a much safer and secure environment.
We are the party that has always stood up and continue to stand up for the rights of the people of Nevis. We're about to get started. We're about to get started with our meeting for tonight. And as we get started, I want to invite God's presence and ask for His blessing over the proceedings. Let's start off with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, be with our proceedings here this evening in the great village of Brooklyn. Guide our every word, guide our steps. Be with those who even now are on their way here. Give them safe travels, mercies, and be with all our proceedings this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this meeting of the Concerned Citizens Movement in Brooklyn tonight. All day, I've been feeling good. You know why? We tried to do this meeting last week. We had the stage set up. We had the sound system set up. The DJ was ready. Everything was ready for our meeting in Brooklyn last week. But then the Lord decided He wanted to send some showers of blessings. And we couldn't complain. So we accepted the rain with good cheer. And we decided to postpone the meeting. But we didn't want to go too far. So we decided just 1 week after to come back here to Brooklyn. Because you know, the people of Brooklyn have always stood with the Concerned Citizens Movement. I believe, just like the concerned citizens movement is so happy to be here in Brooklyn tonight, the people of Brooklyn are also happy to see us. I know you've been wanting to see us, and so we are here tonight to bring the message of hope, to bring the message for the people of Nevis. You know, somebody, well, before we get going good, somebody sent me a little clip today, you know, and I'm going to try to get it to the DJ. Because I understand that the gentleman who is now parading as Prime Minister, he does not have any majority anymore. Timothy Harris, 6 elected members representing a majority, decided they have no more confidence in him. And so he should have been out of office long time. This is the same man who has been there as Minister of Finance, holding up the fair share that the people of Nevis deserve, and that we demand on behalf of the people of Nevis. This is the same man who collected $588 million last year, 2021, on behalf of St. Kitts and Nevis, and decided that he was going to hold almost all of the money in St. Kitts. Not send over any to Nevis. I think we got $45 million. And understand that's when we are going through the whole COVID pandemic, when all of our income was shot to pieces. This is the same man. I understand he went on the mic somewhere and he said that he coming over to Nevis because he wanted to tell his story. I'm going to give the DJ the clip, you know, and sometime a little later tonight we're going to play the clip. So you the good people in Brooklyn could hear him. I hope when he come up, he's over here in Brooklyn, he wants to come.
Bye, 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 bye.
Over. The people in Brooklyn give him a good welcome. Let him know that he's neither wanted or appreciated here in Nevis.
Bye, 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 bye.
Over. Anyway, this mic up here feel good, you know. I feel like but my job tonight is to be the chairperson, and we have speakers rolling in. They came in early tonight because they said they have a lot of things to talk about. So I want to get the meeting started and bring our first speaker for tonight to the podium, none other than Mr. Stedman Trask.
Increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum. There's a state in the country, and he's in his money. Tell that captive that want their money. We went and signed treaty, now they're back in library. Balling and vision is his daddy. Running a song girl is paid to see.
Good night, Brooklyn. CCM people, good night. It is indeed a pleasure to be in Brooklyn, in the heart of CCM country. Indeed, Brooklyn has been a strong CCM constituency for years. you. Nevis needs you. Sankis needs you. The entire federation needs your vote. The entire federation needs the concerned citizen movement. And I am persuaded, ladies and gentlemen, that when the time comes, the people in Brooklyn will do what they've always done. The people in Brooklyn will go to the polls and vote for Alexis Jeffers overwhelmingly. You will remember in 2010, we had the meeting right across the street there. When you had the handing over of the hammer from Nurse Jean to Alexis, and some say you have been accustomed over the years to good representation. Nurse Jean did it, and Alexis continued. And some thank you. Do not break the trend. Do not break the trend, ladies and gentlemen. Alexis will work for you. And I'm telling you, he's not going on there alone. When he goes on there, he will have Eric England on one side, and he has the perfect mark on the other side. That is a winning team, ladies and gentlemen. That is a team that cannot be defeated. So when the others come, tell them, not this time. Not this time. This is too serious. As a matter of fact, I ask you when you come and tell nonsense, tell please sit on this election. It is too important to leave it. You can't be playing LRP, CCM and whatever the other party is. It is just Nevis. And if you can't stand for Nevis, stay home. It is as simple as that. Our election demands serious people to do a serious job. It is not time to play on the bank in the river. You have to stand firm with the concerned citizens movement. You have seen leadership in Bastia from Nevis. You have seen leadership that you can trust. You are talking about honest leadership. We have a gentleman parading as the Prime Minister who has a serious character flaw. He doesn't understand what the truth is. He doesn't speak the truth. And some say to him, if he is listening, try sometime to speak the truth. It will do you good. Speak the truth, it will do you good. But ladies and gentlemen, this election that I said earlier is very, very important. It will determine what type of country we need for children and our grandchildren. And our children yet unborn. So we have to stand up when history is written. Let it be said that the people of Nevis stood up for Nevis, demanded a fair share, and eventually will get a fair share. I don't feel good that when we have a hospital to finish, roads to do, they're taking our money and building a jail. I don't feel good, and nobody needs to feel good. Nobody needs to feel good. It's our money. When we ask us for it, just take it. But listen, we have got to stand up and say to you again. Anybody who will not stand up for fair share does not deserve your vote. Does not deserve your vote. The only party who has stood up for Nevis from its inception until now is the concerned citizen movement. And that is why
for CCM. When people chat nonsense, stand up to them. Because some people seem as if they were living somewhere else. When you look at what's happening in Nevis, how can you say nothing is happening in Nevis? You either blind or you just lie. But ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say to the people of Nevis, I am proud to say to the Federation of Thinkers in Nevis, that come election, we are sending 3 men to Bastia to look after the affairs of Nevis and the affairs of St. Kitts. We are sending, ladies and gentlemen, our Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley, to St. Kitts. We are sending our Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, to St. Kitts. And we are sending our Minister of Culture and Sports, Honorable Eric Evelyn, to St. Kitts. Now tell me, with that type of team, how can we lose? How can we lose with that type of team? And so I'm saying to all of us, I'm saying to all of us, each one of us has a job to do to ensure that everybody we know who are qualified to vote go out to vote on voting day. It doesn't matter if it rains or thunder or lightning, go out to vote on election day. Because if you don't, couple smoke up pipe. Couple smoke up pipe. So ladies and gentlemen, don't take this for granted. Don't say CCM don't win. CCM only win after the votes are counted. And so make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you go to the poll and vote early. Vote early, ladies and gentlemen, because I know the good people in Nevis 10 will send Eric back to St. Kitts. I know that. I know the people in Nevis 9 will send Mark back to St. Kitts. And I know the people in Nevis, what is it? 11. I know the people in Nevis 11 of St. James's and St. Thomas's going to send Alexis to St. Kitts. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the future looks bright, but each one of us must do what we have to do to ensure, ladies and gentlemen, a government of the people, for the people, where Nevis has a seat at the table and Nevis will get its fair share.
There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening to me, but I'm not a candidate. You're here to hear from the candidates. And so, with those few words, I say to the people of St. James's, Alexis is your man come election day. And tell your family and your friends who live in other constituency, Mark and Eric, they are men. And so vote for them on election day. And let us have a big celebration, a big motorcade when CCM wins the next election. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and may God bless you.
Hey, don't worry.
Static Entertainment.
Spread your wings. Nothing is impossible, believe. If I can do it, you can spread your wings. Nothing is impossible. If I can do it, you can spread your wings. Blessing off a flow like a river. 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 If you know some man a leader, blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. But them back and we turn them in a believer.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stedman Trust. We're moving right along. We're sounding good in Brooklyn tonight. Just in case you didn't realize, we're going live over Facebook. We are also live on our very own CCM website, and we are live on YouTube. We had a little complaint a bit earlier, but the audio is good now on the live. So if you're on the live, share the live, bring in your friends, let them know that the Concerned Citizens Movement is in Brooklyn tonight. Yeah, we're sounding good. Let's keep the momentum up. The next speaker for you, coming to you tonight, is the brand new man in town. You understand? I realize all of a sudden the NRP want to throw up all kind of smoke screen. But how they could throw all kind of smoke screen and we clean brand? Not a thing go so. You understand? All kind of nonsense they want to talk. You know, people call me and they tell me, what is? This makes sense? And I tell them, it don't make no sense to you, right? And they say, no. I say, exactly. A stupidness. You understand? When you look at Spencer Brand, what you see? You see a man of integrity, an honest man who is working hard for the people of Nevis. And everywhere you drive in Nevis, you see his handiwork. And guess what? We sticking with him too, you know. And he gonna continue to work. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the podium the man from Charlestown, the Honorable Spencer Brand.
Would you stand up and see your country dying and never lend a helping hand? Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency?
Brooklyn, Brooklyn! Good night, Brooklyn! Oh boy, I feel the energy tonight in Brooklyn. Nice, man, nice, nice. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I came here tonight in a kind of mindset. And I went to the DJ and I asked the DJ to look for that particular song. Because I am set, I'm going to talk something here tonight, right? And I know they're going to vex with me. Well, they don't vex with me, but that's all right. I am going to talk some things here tonight in Brooklyn, right? I am going to talk something here tonight in Brooklyn. And I want the people of Brooklyn to pay attention because this is a very serious election. I want to say a very pleasant good night to the wonderful people of Brooklyn. Yes. I want to say good night to Gene Harris' country. I want to say good night to the Honorable Alexis Jeffers' country. And I want to say good night to CCM country.
Well, you know, try this system here good tonight, boy. The system nice tonight. Nice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. We have a federal election before us. And the issue in this federal election is all about Nevis's fair share. And I want us to think very seriously about this matter of fair share for the island of Nevis. I want the people of Brooklyn to listen to me very carefully. I, in my capacity as the minister with responsibility for water on the island of Nevis, I wrote to the Prime Minister in 2020 asking the Prime Minister for $1.5 million to do some water drilling on the island of Nevis. You, the people of St. James's, are fully aware that you have just gone through a drought. And guess what happened? As soon as we have a drought on the island of Nevis, St. James's is one of the hardest hit parish on the island of Nevis. I want you to bear these things in mind. So I would have written to the Prime Minister in 2020, and I would have said to the Prime Minister that the people of Nevis is asking for 1.5 million US dollars to do some water drilling on the island of Nevis. It took some time before he answered, and he said no. Let me say it again. I wrote to him for 1.5 million US dollars to do some water drilling on the island of Nevis to solve the water problem, especially here in St. James's. I wasn't asking him for St. Kitts' taxpayers' money. I was asking him for monies from the Sustainable Development Fund. Your money, my money, the people of Nevis' money. And he said no. He gave me all kind of excuse. A long letter. I should have walked with the letter. I should have walked with it. All kind of excuse and said no. The long and the short of it, he said no. I said, all right. Well, I get vexed, and I said, all right. And ladies and gentlemen, the idea of asking for that money to do that water drilling project was to ensure that especially the constituency of St. James's gets serious relief from the water crisis whenever we have a drought on the island of Nevis. This is a man who like to say that he father from Cotton Ground and he loved Nevis people so much. But when you ask him to help the people of Nevis in a real way, in a tangible way, he said no. He said no. And I am telling you tonight, if we would have received that 1.5 million US dollars, we would have survived this drought in 2022 much better than we did. But the time will come where we'll fix the issue. And I want to talk to the people. I want to talk to the people of St. James's in particular. I want you, when you go to the polls in these federal elections, I want you to vote for the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And when you vote for the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, I don't tell Alexis, I say, Zook. I said to him, Zook, listen, when you are back in the federal government, is one thing I want for you to do is to make sure that you send that $1.5 million over to Kiln so we can get on with our water drilling project. We're going to talk some things tonight. They say that they love Nevis. And they so love, boy. You know, I have been married for 22 years. And I can't well, I hope she ain't here listening to me. I hope she ain't listening to me. I am not even sure if I have told my wife that I love her so much, like how this man say he love Nevis. Because when you love somebody, you make sure you look after them. You take care of them. You fulfill their needs. You make sure that they are happy and they are comfortable. And if somebody is going to say to you that they love you so much, and they're going to tell you no for the basic need for water, then that is not someone who really loves you. There is no love for him, for the people of Nevis. I am saying to the people of St. James's, this is a consequential election. This is an election that you must stand with Alexis. This is an election that you must stand with Eric. This is an election that you must stand with the Honorable Mark Brantley, and you must stand with the people of Nevis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk something else, and I know they're going to vex with me too. I'm going to talk some more things, and I know they're going to vex with me. Ladies and gentlemen, you, the residents of St. James's, you know that you have to drive from Brooklyn into Charlestown 2, 3, and 4 times a day. Brooklyn, thanks for the correction. Well, I said Brooklyn, you said Brooklyn, that's fine. You know that you have to drive. And I'm saying to you that the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, boy, he just put me under some pressure. I'm going to tell the truth, you know, he just put, he's a man minister when you do the road from ex-petrol going. And I tell him, man, I need the resources. I am saying to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in February of this year, we wrote to the Social Security Board through the Ministry of Finance. And we asked the Social Security Board for some $35 million to do some projects on the island of Nevis. $35 million. One of those projects was to do the road from Cliff Dwellers to the entrance of Mount Nevis Hotel. And then from Newcastle to Ex-Petrol. And we were having some very fruitful discussions with Social Security. Now, I am not blaming Social Security because Social Security have a boss. Social Security have a minister. Then all of a sudden, we start to get some funny answers and some very unusual response for our requests. And then eventually we realize that, boy, this thing ain't going nowhere. You know? This thing is not going anywhere. Because I am standing tonight. And I am saying to you tonight, the people of Brickhill, according to Fitzroy, I must say Brickhill. I am saying to the people of Brickhill tonight that Jesus Christ is going to have to come from heaven and tell me that it was not the Prime Minister who stopped that transaction. I am going to lay squarely at his feet because the Nevis representative was putting pressure on him for the right share and the fair share for the people of Nevis. And I am convinced tonight that he stopped that transaction with Social Security and the people of Nevis. And they say they love Nevis. They're so in love with Nevis. But they're in love with Nevis and they're not giving Nevis what rightfully belongs to them. We could have had that project from Cliff Dwellers to the entrance of Mount Nevis almost completed today. I know we would have done the phase from Cotton Ground to Cliff Dwellers. And the contractor was standing by, ready to go. eager to go because we wanted that project to be completed. But all of a sudden, they are saying that the people of Brick Hill must continue to suffer. And I'm saying to you, residents of Brick Hill, I am saying to you that when you go to the polls in this election, remember one name, Alexis Jeffers. I want you to remember one symbol, that is the hammer. I want you to remember that this is an election that is going to bring development in the constituency of St. James's. Because I'm telling you, you see Alexis, he not easy, you know. He not easy. Every single day in cabinet, he fight for the people of Brick Hill and the people of St. James's. And I want you to stick with Alexis. I am begging you to stick with Alexis. Because on election day, I want the other person to get such a licking that they're going to go back where they come from.
We sleeping with we CCM party to fight for Green City. We sleeping with we CCM party to remove Timothy.
So ladies and gentlemen, my message to you tonight is very clear and very simple. You have done what you know you have to do for many years. You have done what you know is right for many years. You have done what you know is critical for the development of the island of Nevis for many years. Now is not a time to turn back. Now is not a time to change course. Now is not a time to give somebody a chance because, well, I want when the chairman come up to continue to give you a joke about her. I want when the chairman come, I am going to ask him to give you a little joke. But ladies and gentlemen, we come to these meetings and we have one, no chance at all. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to these meetings and we have a really good time. You enjoy the speakers, you enjoy the music, but at the end of the day, the decision is in your hands. We can make the appeal to you time and time and time again. But at the end of the day, you are the ones who have the power. You are the ones who must decide where this country must go. And I'm saying to you that the only course for the island of Nevis is to stick with CCM.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
I want you to stick with CCM because those on the other side are saying to you and they are proclaiming to the world that if they were to be so fortunate and to be elected, and if they were to be asked to form a government, that they won't take a portfolio. Now, I mean, that is so comical. You are in a competition. You are in a race. You are trying to represent the people of your country. And the only way in which you can bring meaningful change is to be in the cabinet. And you are going to say, you don't want a portfolio? I mean, how could you, as an elected member in a country, say to your people that you don't want a portfolio? It means, therefore, that they have no interest in the people. It is all about them. It is about them to get a salary and not work for the people. But I'm saying to you, on election day, just leave them by the wayside.
Tell them wicked people, fire go burn them. Fire go burn them.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, This election is all about fair share for the island of Nevis. And when we talk about fair share, it's not all about money. And I don't want anyone to misunderstand the CCM position. Fair share also includes fair opportunity for the people of Nevis. And I want the people of Brooklyn to recognize and to understand that fair share is also about fair opportunity for the people of Brooklyn, for the people of Gingerland, for the people of Bath Village, Stony Grove, Lost Street. It is all encompassing as to what fair share is. And I'm saying to you that the other side is not too concerned about fair share. They are simply concerned about trying to be the footsie for someone and thinking, well, you see these CCM gentlemen, they're not afraid of soul. And nobody is going to twist them and turn them. Their only mission is for the people of Nevis. And they have proven that time and time and time again. I am asking the people of Brickhill to please give your support to your CCM party. I am asking the people of Brickhill to please give your support to the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. I am asking the people of St. James's to ensure that you go out in your numbers and vote for the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. I know. I sit with him and his heart is in the right place. His heart is with his constituents and with his island of Nevis. I am asking the people of Nevis, number 10 in Gingerland. You know Eric, he loves to dance. Well, he could dance, I can't dance. I am asking the people of Gingerland to ensure that you give your overwhelming support for the Honorable Eric Evelyn. And I'm asking the people of Nevis number 9, St. Paul's and St. John's, to ensure that you give your overwhelming support to the Honorable Mark Brantley. We only have control over what we can do on the island of Nevis. And I want us to ensure that we control the 3 seats on the island of Nevis. I want us to ensure that when the elections are over and the numbers are tally, CCM will have 3 seats on the island of Nevis.
Better days are coming, change your ways.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of speakers who are candidates in this election. Eric Evelyn, Alexis Jeffers, and the Honorable Premier. But I want to leave with you tonight my message as I started. This is a consequential election. And whether we have taken other elections lightly before, whether we felt that it was not such an important election, or whether we felt that it may not have been a big deal, this election is a very big deal for Nevis. It is a crucial election for the island of Nevis. It is an election that we must ensure that the Concerned Citizens Movement Party will be the only victors in this election. And I'm here to say to you, I am here to say to you that you can rest assured that when you vote for your CCM representatives at the federal level, they will deliver for the people of Nevis, for the entire island of Nevis. So give them your support, give them your vote, and ensure that you send them to Bastille. Thank you, good night, and have a wonderful evening.
We're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 we're ready, yeah, we're ready, ready.
Thank you very much, Spencer. And I don't see you want to get me in trouble tonight, you know. I don't see Spencer want to get me in trouble tonight. That was very good. We're feeling good in Brooklyn tonight. You know, as Spencer was talking, I got to thinking. You all in Brooklyn, you know when CCM, Brick Hill, Fitzroy, let me alone. You know when CCM comes to St. James and we bring somebody and we tell the people of St. James, we want you to support this person. We want you to vote for this person. That we bring in somebody of the people. You all know that, right? So I realize that in this election, and they say in the local election too, that the NRP have gone and found a candidate. And what I want to ask, any of you in Brick Hill know the person? So before they up and became the leader of the NRP, before they up and became the candidate for the NRP, I ever see them in Brooklyn before?
Bye bye, bye. Oh boy.
You understand? Not even in Castle you see them. I hear he's only down the bay. But far from all joke, you all have never, ever, ever seen that person before. And you know what I learned during this campaign? They said the person been living here in Nevis for 20 years. 20 years living in St. James. And if they drive down the road, they don't know who live down there. Much less coming over here to Brick Hill. They don't know anybody in Brick Hill.
Bye bye, bye. Oh boy.
So when they come to Brick Hill, whoever they walk in with tell them, well, this is Tom, and this is Jane. And they say, nice to meet you. I want to represent you. Eh? What could go so? Eh? When Alexis Jeffers walked through St. James, he know everybody, and everybody know him, because he is one of you. He know no Johnny come lately, and he's not no stranger. And guess what? This is Culturama time. So when Alexis Jeffers reached town to go Culturama, he know where the gate to the village there. You understand? He know where the entrance is. So he don't have to call me and say, try. Where the entrance to the village there. Spencer, you make me do it. So I understand what happened. Living in Nevis for 20 years. Said they want to be the premier because you understand that the leader of the NRP, if by some stroke of bad luck, NRP win, the leader of NRP gonna be the premier. So you all can understand that the premier living in Nevis for 20 years and don't know where the entrance to the cultural village is. Eh? You can't make this kind of thing up. This is facts. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we keep moving on. We're having a good time here in Brooklyn. And I want to welcome to the mic another person. He's not the representative for St. James, but everybody in St. James know him. And he know everybody in St. James too. He ain't no stranger to St. James. So imagine the man who running in Gingerland. He know more about St. James than the NRP candidate for St. James. When he walk in St. James, he feel like he at home. party at home anyway, Nevis. I'm talking about Eric Evelyn. Come help me welcome Eric Evelyn to the microphone tonight.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Calling a division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. I hear he teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we. We sticking with we CCM party. CCM party to fight for Green City. We sticking with we CCM party. CCM party to remove Timothy.
Good night, Brick Hill Massive! Good night, St. James is massive! I feel in the energy tonight. And I feel good tonight. You know, every time I hear that song from Bingy, it gives me a burst of energy. You know why? Because it say, we sticking with we CCM party!
Sticking with we CCM party. CCM party to fight for Green City.
Good night once again. I want to say a special good night to all the people of Brick Hill. I call in the word good. Fitzroy. I want to say good night to all of you lovely people who have come out tonight to support your man, Alexis Jeffers. And of course, the big blue machine, the CCM party. I want to say a special good night to all of the folks who are listening via radio and those who are following online. I want to say a special good night. He told me he's the mayor of Brick Hill, Fitzroy Warner. I give Fitzroy a big round of applause. Because he's always sticking with the big blue machine. And I'm happy to be here tonight to support my brother, my former boss, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who is a son of the soil of Brick Hill. He born right here. And you know the good thing about it? Brick Hill has always stood with Alexis. And I am confident that Brick Hill will stand even taller this time with Alexis Jeffers. Because you know what? Alexis never let you down yet. And he ain't going to start now. Alexis, as I said, I had the privilege of working with him for a number of years as his permanent secretary in agriculture. And I believe all of you know that Alexis is a little bit stubborn, but he means well. He means well. And this man, once he means he's going to work, he going to work. And once you give him a task, he is going to stick to that task. And so I'm so delighted to be here in Brick Hill tonight, feeling the vibes of the Brick Hill people. And you know what? When Spencer was up here, right? I said to myself, he looked like the rise of Spencer Ansness tonight. I never hear Spencer with so much energy yet. Because as the chairman rightly said, he have some wicked people out there. Wicked people out there who trying to spread all kind of garbage all kind of nonsense on my brother Spencer brand. But you know what? And fire gonna always burn the wicked people. Gonna always burn the wicked people. Because I want you to get the message loud and clear tonight. That decision time is coming. Today is the 9th day of July 2022. And as I spoke in Jessup's the other night, I said it's just about another month before we'll have a new government, a new federal government in Bastille. And every morning when I wake up, I look on the calendar because I want to see what date it is. Because every day when we wake up, it gets one day closer to the election. And it gets one day closer to when Alexis, Eric, and Mark will be back in the government, in the federal government in Bastille.
Better days are coming, coming, change your ways.
I love that, DJ. Better days are coming. Because when that day come, when the bell is rung, when we go to the polls, we know that 9, 10, and 11 will be counted for CCM and for Nevis and to go to Bastille.
CCM party, to fight for Green City.
Yes, because you know what? The people of Brick Hill and the people of St. James will always stick with Alexis. And you know what? You know why they will always stick with Alexis? And you know why the people of Nevis will always stick with Eric and Mark? And you know why they will always stick with the CCM? Because these three men are men of credibility and integrity.
I know every no, so every time I rise, we do it for the love and I do it for the lights. Do it for the love and I do it for the lights. Do it for the love and I do it for the lights. Do it for the love and I do it for the lights. Make them know success don't come overnight.
And you know, when you're choosing a representative, you want only the best. And only the best will do with CCM. Only the best will do with Mark, Alexis, and myself. Because as I said, you want people to represent you who have integrity. No, I have been in government, in the federal government, for just about 2 years. I have been in the local government for almost 5 years. Mark and Alexis have been there for much longer than me. And tell me if anyone on this island of Nevis or in the Federation can point one finger, one, only one, at any of us. Not even 1 ounce of corruption has ever been blamed on the CCM government or your representatives. And so, when you're selecting your representative to go to Bastille, you must ensure that Alexis goes with Mark and me. Because we are men of integrity. Men you can trust. Representatives you can trust. Representatives who will always have your back. Representatives who will always stand up for Nevis. Now I want you to tell me, have you seen any party on the island of Nevis, apart from the CCM, that stands up for Nevis? Tell me. I understand that over here you'll be having 3 candidates.
I understand you'll be having 3 candidates from 3 political parties. But tell me, when you look at the parties, when you look at the candidates, can you say in any real good sense that any of these parties stands up for Nevis like the Concerned Citizens Movement? Absolutely none. And that is why the people of Brickhill must, absolutely must, stand up for Alexis Jeffers. You know the man. You know how he fights for you. Not only in Brickhill, but for the entire constituency of St. James. I mean, we just have the joke when we talk in cabinet sometimes. Because you know what Alexis say? Alexis say he wants secession for St. James's. But Alexis, you're not going to get it. You ain't going to get it. But this is a man who fights for the cause of the people of St. James. And if you have a man who is always standing up for you, you must stand with him and for him.
If Jah is standing by my side, then why should I be afraid of a pestilence that crawleth by night?
Alexis is a man who is always hitting the ground running. And as Troy spoke about Culturama, of course, you know, apart from all that he does in terms of the development of St. James, the development of Brickhill, the development of Nevis, you know what happens every Culturama when you go down to Hobart Beach? Alexis Jeffers is the man who is always organizing the Hobart Beach affair. He's behind the Good Citizens Club, and he's always there working. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you have absolutely no doubt that this is a man who is with the people. This is a man who is with the people of Brickhill. You see what he did only recently down the road there, down the range. You see what he did? Because the man loves the people of Brickhill and St. James. And I know you love him too. And that is why you will vote for him come election day. You know, during this campaign, you've been hearing so much about the fair share. And you know, we were in Bath Village yesterday doing a little canvassing. And I was so happy when one gentleman said, you know what he said to us? Whenever all you come, the only thing I want to hear is fair share, nothing else. Because that is the message that the people of Nevis should get. And that is the message that the people of Nevis should identify with at all times. You have in your 3 CCM candidates, in your 3 CCM representatives who are fighting for the people of Brickhill, the people of St. James, and the people of Nevis to get our fair share of the CBI money. We can't afford for the CBI to be getting $588 million in 1 year, and we only get 40 something. That can't be right. It cannot be right. And I don't care how much maths you do, it can't be right. Whether you could do maths or not, it cannot be right. And so we, myself, Mark and Alexis, we will continue when we go back to Bastille as early as next month.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
We will continue to stand for the island of Nevis. We will continue to stand for our fair share on the island of Nevis. And we won't rest until we bring it home to the people of Nevis. We not gonna rest all till we get with fair share. We not gonna sleep good call till we get with fair share. And that is why this election that is coming up is so important and it is so crucial to all of us. Very, very crucial. Because I've said over and over again, I believe that this is the best chance we have of Nevis getting what it truly deserves. And as I said, we will not rest until we get it. We have a wonderful chance now. And I do not want the people of Brick Hill and the people of Nevis to gamble with that chance. I remember at one time the CCM had a slogan, do not gamble with your future. People of Brick Hill, do not gamble with your future. Do not gamble with the future of Nevis. And so, when the day comes, when that bell is rung, because as I said, the time is drawing nigh. The days are ticking. The clock is ticking. And the bell must ring. It must ring. And so when that time comes, ladies and gentlemen, I have a message for you people in Brick Hill and St. James. Because we have been hearing that they have given up on me. We have been hearing that they have given up on Mark. But then said them a coup Alexis. Them said them a coup Alexis Jeffers. But I want the people of Brick Hill to tell them loud and clear. Not you. Not you. So coup as much as you like. No, but serious, we have been told they said they give up on Mark, they give up on me. Because you see, the thing is, I don't even know who running against me and I ain't care. I ain't want to know. I don't even want to know. Because the people of Gingerland know me well. And they know I am always with them. And I know they will always be with me. The people of number 9, they continue to stick with Mark Brantley. And so, when the people over here trying to coup Alexis and coup number 11, I want the people of Brick Hill to say, absolutely no way. No way. Because as I said, I don't know who is running against me. Mark said that the one who running against him gonna vote for him. That is what Mark said every night, and I believe him. I believe him. And maybe the one who running against me gonna vote for me too. I will accept the vote. And so, we never know. The one who running against Alexis just might vote for him as well. Just might vote for him as well. Alexis say vote for him already. And he might vote for him again. Because you see, the thing is, right? The thing is, it is so absolutely clear. The message is so clear that the best representatives you can get to send to Bastia are in Alexis, myself, and Mark. You know, when we campaigned to go to the federal government to fight for Nevis, they had all kind of nonsense to say about us and say we're looking money. Well, we're looking money now. When we leave the money and come back to Nevis to represent you all, to fight for our fair share. If we were looking money, we would not have walked away. But we walked away to stand with the people of Nevis. And that is what we're going to always do. Because nobody can buy us. We are a strong team, together, united. Nobody can buy us.
We stand strong.
You see anybody could buy Alexis Jeffers? You think anybody could buy the sheriff? Well, listen. When this thing started, when this thing started, They had all kind of rumor. Say, I am not with the team. But these people really don't know me.
No boy can't buy me up.
Because if you know me well, you know that I am someone who stand for principle. And I am sticking with Alexis and Mark. And I am sticking with the Big Blue Machine. I am sticking with the CCM party.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Begin with we CCM party. CCM party. To fight for Green City. We sticking with we.
Brick Hill Massive, you hear this song. We're sticking with we CCM party. And for this election, ladies and gentlemen of Brick Hill and St. James, I know that Brick Hill always votes for CCM. But for this election, I want you to vote in even more overwhelming numbers. I want when the Brick Hill box is counted, Alexis is leading by 150 in Brick Hill. You hear me? Brick Hill Massive, you heard me? I want when the Brick Hill box comes in, Alexis leads in that box by over 150 votes. Because he is a man of the soil. He say he from Brick Hill and Goat Hole. I don't know where Goat Hole there. But the fact is, he is your man. He is the man of the people, and he is who you must stick with.
One bag of gold medal pan me now. Champion boy, you know the damn thing.
You know, every time we come to Brick Hill, we get some good energy over here. And I really love the vibes tonight. I'm loving the vibes tonight. And I want you to take that vibe all the way to election day. All the way to the polls. All the way after election day when we have our celebration. And all the way to Bastille when we go down to get sworn in. I want you to take that vibe and let it reverberate through the entire village of Brick Hill. Let it reverberate through the entire constituency of St. James. Because as I said, this is the constituency that they have the eyes on. But we got news for them. We got big news for them. Because I believe after this federal election, the three of them who running for the other side gonna retire. They're gonna retire because they're gonna get so much licks. They're gonna retire. And you know, this CCM party is a party who like to retire people, you know.
Goodbye to me haters.
And so, I want the good people of Brick Hill to start encouraging all of your family members and friends to go to the polls on election day. This is an important election for us. It is an important election for you. It is an important election for the island of Nevis. And we absolutely cannot squander that opportunity. We absolutely can't. And so I am asking you, I'm pleading with you, I'm begging you, kindly spread the message to your family and friends. Take someone with you on election day. Go out early to vote. I've told Alexis that on election day, by 9 o'clock, me gonna finish the job at Gingerland. By 9 o'clock, the job gonna be done over there. And so I might be coming right over here to help out with Alexis. But with the passion, with the enthusiasm, the vibe that I'm seeing here in Brick Hill tonight, I doubt Alexis gonna want any help. Because the people of Brick Hill will speak, and they will speak loudly. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in your CCM representatives, I've been speaking a lot about Alexis because this is his territory. This is his turf. And we are here tonight to support him in a very big way because he's a good guy. He's a hard worker. He's committed. He's dedicated. He's selfless. He always gives. And that is why you need to stick with the man. You need to stick with him. But we want the people of Nevis to stick with Mark in Nevis 9 so he can go back to Bastia to continue the excellent work that he has started here. We want the people of Nevis 10 to stick with yours truly. And we know and we are confident that the people of Nevis 11, St. James and St. Thomas's will not disappoint. And you know why I also feel good about this election? Because, you know, normally, over in St. Thomas's, they normally give a little trouble. But not this time. I believe Alexis is going to win St. Thomas's. So by the time he comes to St. James, he's only cruising along. Cruising to the finish line. Cruising to the finish line. When he gets to Butlers and Brick Hill and Castle and the whole of St. James, cruising over the finish line. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be too much longer because I know Alexis has a lot to say. And Mark has a lot to say as well. But I just want to say how good I feel tonight. I feel the energy. I feel the people of Brick Hill. I feel the people of St. James. But, we want to feel you even harder on election day. That's where we want to feel you, on election day. So I want you to listen out carefully for the bell. And after the bell is rung, get your ID cards ready. If you ain't have your ID card and you have a passport or you have a social security card, you can vote with that. The most important thing is we want you to turn out in your numbers and vote overwhelmingly for your man Alexis Jeffers. And so, the message is clear. We are the dream team. We are the A team. We are the only team that will represent you well in Bastia. And as I said on Thursday night in Jessop's, people of Brick Hill, because the system sounding so good, I know everybody in Brick Hill is hearing me tonight. If you ain't prepared to vote for the hammer, if you ain't prepared to vote for Alexis, if you ain't prepared to vote for CCM, stop home. Stay home. Stay home. You gotta stand with Nevis for this one. You gotta stand with Nevisions for this one. And if you ain't prepared to stand with us, stay home. That's the message. And so, in Nevis 9, overwhelmingly for Mark. Nevis 10, overwhelmingly for yours truly. And Brick Hill and Nevis 11, your man. From right here, Alexis Jeffers is the man. Vote for him, vote for all three, and send us back to Bastia to represent you. Ladies and gentlemen of Brick Hill, thank you, good night, and God bless you.
There's a state in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty, down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see.
Yes. Eric Evelyn. Man really turn up the place tonight. Brooklyn, how you feeling? You know what I believe? I believe every election they're going to have to come with somebody new. I believe, and I really do believe, that when Alexis done share licks in this federal election, she ain't coming back again.
And then the harder they come, the harder they'll fall.
Not coming back again. And guess what? She not gonna come hard. Them not come hard because when they come to Big Hill, they don't know nobody in Big Hill.
Goodbye to me haters.
They got to come round. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. That's what they're saying when they come in Big Hill. Imagine, this a 11:45 now. School soon calling. And they must say, nice to meet you. I want to represent you. That's nonsense. The people of St. James gonna stick with who you know. You're gonna stick with who been around here all the time. Not some of them who wanted to be elsewhere. And because things happen. All of a sudden, they knock you back here, Nevis. You understand? You know what I want you all to do here in Brooklyn? When NRP come around Brooklyn and they bring their candidate with them and they start to tell you all, vote for them, they want to represent you, ask them for me.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Oh boy.
Ask them, how come you come back to Nevis? You understand? Ask them, well, what happened to you when you reach back to Nevis? Because ain't want you want to be here. You see, NRP like to take up people who run back in Nevis, you know. They did it the other day. Down in St. John's, they brought a man down there to run against Mark. And he had run back to Nevis, you know. And now they want to bring somebody in St. James who run back to Nevis. I want you all to tell them, it's CCM country St. James B. You don't want nobody who will run back to Nevis. You want people who want to be in Nevis.
People run like a wounded dog.
Y'all think it's joke? This ain't no joke. Ask them. Ask them. And if they want to continue the conversation, tell them, hold up. You don't hear the question? Answer the question. And don't let them give you a foolish answer. Because St. James people are smart people. So listen to them answer. Ask them, from whence have you come? Why are you here? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving right along. And you know, this is what we came here for tonight. Because I want to bring to the podium the man who has been working hard. You understand? Working hard for the people of St. James. Day in and day out. All day, every day. That's all what you do. Work hard. You understand? I want to bring to the podium the man who has been your representative, and he has been a good representative. You all show some love. Show some love and welcome to the podium, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
darkness walks behind me, but he will never, 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 never control me. Today I live a life of sorrow, working for the joys of a bright tomorrow. Carrying my cross, carrying my cross, carrying my cross. Wisdom.
Show me the road. Let's get it right. Thank you very much, DJ. Good night to the people of Brick Hill. As a matter of fact, right, it's a long time I ain't make some noise up here, you know. But since we got whistling with bells and everything, we gonna make some noise tonight, you know. All right, ready? CCM people, Brick Hill people, St. Thomas says the whole of Nevis, everybody want to hear. So CCM people, Brick Hill people, let me hear you make some noise. Oh my goodness. Hey. That's how we roll when it comes to a CCM meeting, you know. I think we are just about to launch off big time. Because over the last couple of weeks, we've been going around Nevis, yes. But I think we are getting very much closer to an election date. And you know what? Election date might fall before or after Culturama or during Culturama. But I'll tell you this much. If it is Juve morning, we're going to jump up, then we're going to the polls. If it is the last lap, we're going to vote, then we're going to last lap. That is how ready we are for an election. So we are saying to the outgoing Prime Minister, man, ring the bell now, man. Ring the bell. You have kept us going and going. And you know you're going to lose. He know he's going to lose. So why are you keeping the nation in suspense? But we'll wait for that date. But tonight, just before we get going, I'm going to surprise my good friend Varita. Tomorrow is Varita's birthday. So we want to wish Varita a happy 60th birthday. She looked nothing close to 60. Varita, happy birthday from the bottom of my heart and from the whole of Brick Hill.
Hey, when I give these keys, homeboy, don't move my car, man. I'm right in the front, you dig? Don't move my man. Ho, baby, what's your name? Go, girl, it's your birthday.
Well, the DJ right on cue because I didn't tell him anything. Thank you, DJ. Happy birthday, Varita. I'm going to come to church to join you tomorrow. I'll come and join you and wish you happy birthday there as well. But it's good to be in Brick Hill because Brick Hill is a special place for me. You heard, here's where I was born. But let me be specific and tell Eric I was born in Goat Hole. I don't care what they take that and mean, a born in Goat Hole. But you know, sometimes you can't look at where a man come from, you know, where he heading. And we have come from somewhere and we're going places. And now, something that bothers them is that I am the elected representative of St. James and also the elected representative of Nevis 11. And I want to say to the people of Brick Hill, to the people of Nevis 11, St. Thomas and St. James, that I need your support once again to represent you in the federal parliament. I have never disappointed you, but an election is going to come. And I want to say to Nevis 11, in 2020 you made a decision that you had enough of the NRP and the representative then. You had enough because that representative brought nothing for 20 years. And even when he was in government between 2010 and 2015, still brought nothing. Some may say he brought a loan, but a loan is nothing. When free money down in St. Kitts, knocking dog, I would say, he brought nothing. So we made the decision in 2020 that it's time to turn a new page. It is time to move in a new direction. And since then, after 2 years in the federal parliament and the federal government, the whole of Nevis 11, the whole of Nevis can say that we have represented well. It wasn't a full term. It wasn't a full term, but we said to you when we left the shores of Nevis, we are going to Bastia to represent the people of Nevis, and that is what we did. As a matter of fact, you heard Eric said before that we're going to stay there and take money for 5 years. Yeah, you could have collected a salary for 5 years. But we made the commitment to the people of Nevis that once we step on the shores of St. Kitts and stand up in the federal parliament and be a part of that federal government, Nevis will always be front and center in our thoughts. Nevis will be first thing on our minds. And the interest of the people of Nevis will always be our focus. And when it was the case where we would have been pleading for what is rightfully ours, and the outgoing prime minister felt that we must be denied, we said no, we cannot stand for that because that is not what we were sent to Bastia to do. So, on May 10th, thereabout, I believe it was May 10th, he said he fired us. But the people of Nevis 11 haven't fired Alexis Jeffers because they'll never do that also. They'll never do that either. So when he said he fired us, well, boss, all I'm going to say to you tonight is that you will be fired. That is the outgoing prime minister come the next election. And then we'll have a firing party maybe. But I'll tell you this much. We are prepared to go back to represent the people of Nevis 11, Nevis 10, and Nevis 9. And in all constituencies, I am confident that the people will vote overwhelmingly for the concerned citizens movement.
We're ready, yeah, we're ready.
But ladies and gentlemen, you have heard Eric said before that I have always been a champion for the constituency of St. James. But I'm also a champion, and I've always advocated for the best for St. Thomas Parish as well. I've always been a champion for the entire island of Nevis. So even though you hear my colleagues speak eloquently about my efforts for and on behalf of the people of St. James, it is always, my efforts have always been for and on behalf of the people of Nevis. But indeed, let me touch on St. James a little bit while I'm here. You know, Eric said that I always talk about St. James seceding from Nevis. Listen, I mean it, you know, in a joking way though. I really mean it. And the reason why I say it is because St. James, and I'll get to St. Thomas's, but St. James have all of the amenities that makes up an entire island or nation. We have a seaport, we have an airport, we have a university, we have churches, we have schools. We have all of the amenities. But I said it joking with Eric. But the reason why I bring these up is because we've always sought to bring the best to this constituency. And we have brought the best, and you know what? There's a lady who's running against me. Every single thing that has come to St. James, she has been critical or criticizing it. She talked about the Wally Water Taxi Facility, one of the best projects we have brought to this island. The first phase is completed. But you know what? Here's what I'm going to say to you. That water taxi facility have played an important role in moving people from St. Kitts to Nevis and Nevis to St. Kitts. And it is one of those projects that I'm proud of. And why I say I'm proud is because 100% of the operators there who have their boats are Nevisians. All of them are Nevisians. They're from all up and down Nevis. They employ Nevisians. And all of the revenue that you can speak of end up in the coffers of Nevis. And I cannot understand why someone would be critical of a project or an entity such as that. But you know why? When we got into government in 2013, there was an application for a pier, a water taxi facility down at the bottom of Cotton Ground. It was an application that was put in by the brother of the same person who's running against me. When I saw that, I say, if, for example, that application was approved, here's what would happen. You see the sea bridge?
Since the sea bridge was built in 2007, 2008, only one operator has operated out of that facility. One single. And it tells me that if if that prayer was approved or the authorization was given, only one person would have controlled that facility. I said once the government is in charge of a facility, it would be there for the whole of Nevis. And so we have multiple operators out of the water taxi facility there at Wally. That was an important decision made by this administration, and that has bothered this lady for the longest time. Now imagine one person owning a pier, one person controlling the operations. What do you think would have happened? That is what you call a monopoly. But because of the vision of this administration, because of the foresight that we had, we said we'll open it up for everybody to have an opportunity to make money. And since that facility has been there, a number of persons have been making money. So because of that, apparently, it's obvious it is a bother to some persons. But we don't operate like that as a government. We are not thinking about one single soul in this island. We are thinking about everybody and the betterment of everybody. So that pier is down there being operated, and it is a problem for those who want to make it a problem. But listen, we'll move on from there, because the police station, for example, is a major problem to us as well. A major problem. Every time she opens her mouth, she talk about the Newcastle police station. Let me say to the people of Kiln and the people of Nevis, when I was elected in 2013 as a representative for St. James, I made the commitment to the police who are housed there at the old police station that before my term comes to an end, I will ensure that that police station is broken down and rebuilt. In 2016, God bless his soul, the Honorable Van Samry told me, Minister Jeffers, I'm going to leave it up to you to ensure that we get a brand new police station at Newcastle. He didn't tell me where the money was going to come from. He didn't say how to go about it. But I knew at that time that the challenge was on my hand to get it built. And I didn't disappoint. Because when you pass there, brand new edifice, a brand new, they call it a hotel. One of the best in the OECS. And every time she opened her mouth, she talk about that police station. But it is a beauty. I am saying to the people of Brickhill and the people of St. James and Nevis 11 that infrastructural development all up and down this constituency have been done in a way to benefit the people who would use these facilities. And I am proud of that construction. It took us just about 2 years to get done. But when it was all said and done, there it is. A brand new Newcastle police station and fire hall. And we'll go one step further, We'll go one step further because I've said to my colleagues that we are in the north of the island. If there's an emergency here, we need to have emergency services here. Not only fire tenders, but we'll also have an ambulance up here eventually. Right down there at Newcastle. We just have to work out the details. I've made the approach, and we have to come up with a plan to execute that so that when there's an incident here in St. James, in the north of the island, you don't have to wait for an ambulance to come from Government Road. It takes about 25 minutes to come and 25 to go. We'll cut it short. 25 minutes and we're gone to town. That will save lives. That will save time. And that would ensure that you're providing the services that you should provide as a government. That is how you have to think. Not come with some wishy-washy thinking. I hear them talking about investigation of Minister Brand. A clean fellow. But I'm going to say this, Odyssey have a chant that does got sometimes. What they say, don't start no wife, you don't mean it? Don't start no wife, you don't mean it. Don't mess around if you don't mean it. Because you see that investigation they're calling for? I hope when we start to investigate, some of them can stand up to the investigation. Because you hear Eric talk about, not Eric, Troy talk about it. How one God judged such person next show back in Nevis 20 years ago. It was her admission. She said she came back to Nevis 20 years ago. 20 years ago, she was down there in Round Hill, never said hello or good morning to anybody. Never pick up a soul in her life. Never even know who her neighbors were.
Bye bye, bye bye.
Over.
Never ever know that down here at the bottom between here and the Anglican church is called Fountain God. Don't even know where Pan Peace be in Brick Hill. Don't even know where Lodging Gut is in Brick Hill. I'm talking local. Don't even know where Lodging Gut is. And come up here and say that she want to take a seat from somebody. Take a seat from somebody who? Take a seat where? When you want to represent somebody, you first have to show the constituency your trophy. Show me your trophy. What have you done for us lately? If you're back here 20 years, it means that you must have done something of merit to come up here and say you want to represent someone. Never was involved in any church group, no community group, nothing. This is a person who is a blank slate as far as I'm concerned. And if he had accomplishment in St. Thomas, well, go back there, go walk. Go back there, go walk. But I understand he can't go back. But we're going to know the truth one day, you know. What I want to tell the people of St. James and St. Thomas Parish, when this lady come, ask them who sent you. Who sent you? And why they sent you? Because somebody would have sent her. And she didn't come with good intentions either. But I believe before this election is called, maybe she must try in the towel. She might try in the towel and say she ain't running again. I ain't going to spend much time on her because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. At this point, she's so insignificant, I ain't even worried about her. I'm not worried. Because the people of Brick Hill, the people of St. James, the people of Nevis 11 is looking for serious representation. They're not looking for someone who was sent by the outgoing Prime Minister. That's the boy Timo. Timo Senam. Timo Senna. Because the bottom line is, the outgoing Prime Minister knows when it comes to the Honorable Mark Brantley, when it comes to Eric Evelyn, when it comes to Alexis Jeffers, these are three gentlemen he could never control. He could never control us. And we have sat in the federal cabinet with him, so he knows exactly what we're about. But I won't even spend time on him because you have heard he always said that he's a Nevis man. I am not going to discuss that with a soul, but I'll say this to you. That Prime Minister has always spoken about surplus after surplus after surplus. Every year since 2015, he talked about surplus. And you're going to tell me, as the representative of Nevis 11 and representative of the people of Nevis, that in all those surpluses, we cannot get our fair share? We cannot get our 24 or 25% that is due to us as citizens of this Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis? I want to give you by way of example. Last year, $588 million was collected through the CBI program. Nevis got 45 million. 45 million. That's about 7% of the 588 million. If you are a pro-Nevision, you must be angry when it comes to that. This CBI program has collected over $2.5 billion. We haven't collected no more than just about 10 or 12% of that. And we are supposed to be 25% of the population of St. Kitts and Nevis. That must bother you. And that is why I said that any party that is running in this election and they're not talking about fair share, you must reject them. You must reject them, because if we are, or we represent 24% of the population of St. Kitts and Nevis, after all of the expenses are taken away from the amount collected, we get out 24%. Imagine what 24% could have done for the island of Nevis. We have road projects to do. We have a sixth farm to build. We have road projects to do. We have a sixth farm to build. We have debt to pay. We have So many social programs that we can implement here on the island of Nevis to benefit our people. So we have been denied, but we won't be dissuaded in any way, because we're going to continue to fight and champion your cause. And that will always be our mantra once the people of Nevis have placed that confidence in us as a party and as your representatives. Speaking of social programs, you have heard of the imbalances that have occurred in the program called the PAP, the Poverty Alleviation Program. You have heard also in the STEP program. I am saying to you, and you've heard it from the Premier, that once we're able to get our rightful share, we'll control our own programs here on the island of Nevis. Who knows our people better than ourselves? Nobody from St. Kitts should be determining who gets on these programs. But while our people cannot get on these programs, everyday people are getting on those programs in St. Kitts. That cannot be right. It cannot be fair. Because when you send names to St. Kitts, they probably call back over here to someone and ask who that person support, who that person is. It cannot be right. But once we're in control of our programs, we know our people well. We have worked with our people. We have worked on behalf of our people. So why not give those programs to us to control? But we are saying, vote for the CCM party. Vote for us in Nevis 11. Vote for us in Nevis 10. In Nevis 9. Vote for the 3 CCM representatives. And we'll get
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
But I am confident that the people of Nevis will heed our call. You'll heed our call, because now is the time for you to understand that Nevisians must stand up for the island of Nevis. Now is the time for you to understand that Nevis is where we were born and raised, and we love this island to the point where we'll even sacrifice all that we have for this island. Because you know, you can travel the world. You can go to the United States, you can go to England, you can go Europe, all over the world. When somebody asks you where you were born, you can't say you were born there. Say you were born in Nevis. And it also must be pride, a pride to you, or some pride to you, to say that I am going home, because this is your home. And when you come home to Nevis and you see what we have done as a government to develop this island, road networks. When you look at this island, you see we have done so much to keep crime under control. We have provided employment. The streets are clean. There's lights all around. Nevis has come a long way, and we have done an excellent job to keep this island going. And that is why I'm always proud when I stand up anywhere throughout the world, because I've gone to places, being the representative of this constituency and also the representative of the people of Nevis. I've gone places. And when I stand up anywhere and they ask me where you're from, I say I'm from the island of Nevis. And by extension, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. But the reason why I say Nevis is because I always tell them that Nevis is the nearest thing to paradise and the closest thing to heaven.
Bless our country, bless our native land.
And the reason why I put it that way, I said the nearest thing to heaven because I've never been there. But I think heaven is a glorious place. So that's why I said Nevis is the closest thing to it. So that is where the pride is. They say you can take a man out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the man. And that's why I talk with so much pride. And that's why when I go across the waters to Bastille and I say that I'm standing up to represent the people of Nevis, I mean that. And my actions speak for itself. But ladies and gentlemen, you may ask, well, what we plan to do with the money when we get our fair share? We have said that we are happy to be in true unity with the People's Action Movement. And the People's Action Movement have the respect for us the same way we reciprocate the respect for them. And irrespective of what might be said, I do believe that we have a worthy partner in the People's Action Movement. And I say that to say this. The People's Action Movement and its leadership knows that the CCM is committed to moving this country forward. As this country goes forward, all of us will be a much better person and a much better people. And over the years, we've had difficulties as a federation. We've had all sorts of difficulties. But I want to say to you as a people, irrespective of the difficulties, we've been a resilient people as well. We've been able to withstand many difficult situations, many difficult tragedies. But we've always bounced back. And we've always demonstrated that we are a strong-willed people. And I want us to keep that in mind and not be dissuaded by anybody's thinking and anybody's thought process. You think for yourself and understand that we are who this country is depending on. Our future depends on us. Our future depends on all of us and what we will do in this election coming up. So let me say about this election. I understand someone with the last name Jeffers as well is running in these elections. But let me say this, and let me be clear. When you go to the polling station, come whatever date it is, when you pick up the ballot, I want you to look for the hammer. That's all you have to look for. You look for the symbol, the hammer. And if you're a Spanish-speaking person, look for the martillo. Martillo. You can roll your tongue too. You vota martillo. Vota azul. You're voting for the blue team. You're voting for the hammer. So that should not be a difficult decision come election day. And I specify that because when you see names alike, you might just get confused, and I don't want you to be confused. Because we're hoping that when we come out of St. Thomas Parish, you've heard it before, that we're hoping to win that constituency or that parish. You roll out of Craddock Road, we're going to be ahead. Roll into Jessop's, we'll be ahead. Roll into Cotton, we'll be ahead. So by the time we get to Newcastle, it's all over. My mind is going back to 2020. We did an excellent job coming out of St. Thomas Parish. We were behind by 80. The first time in the history of elections in Nevis 11. But this time around, my understanding and my feeling is that we'll do much better. So by the time we get to St. James, it will be all over. But I still want the people of St. James to go out in a number, large numbers too. Here's why I say that. There's some persons who do not necessarily like to vote in federal elections. And that might be true. But I want to say to you that these elections of 2022 are the most critical and the most important elections that we'll have to face. And all of the elections we've had to face in the past were critical elections as well too. But this time around, because of what is expected of us here in Nevis, because of what is expected of this great party, we expect all who can vote to go out to the polls come election day. And we'll continue to encourage you. We'll continue to encourage you because, you know, sometimes we can become complacent. Some may say that the NRP is dead, and I do believe they're dead. Well, this is the time to bury them by going out to vote in your overwhelming numbers. But we're not going to take any chances this time around. Because once we get into St. James, the numbers should be so much that by the time it's done, the person I'm running against will just throw in the towel and don't come back for the local. Don't come back for the local because we take representation seriously. Seriously. And when it comes to representation, Alexis Jeffers have provided for St. James the best representation. When it comes to Nevis 11, St. Thomas is included. Alexis Jeffers have been a remarkable representative. And as such, I'm asking you to reward me for being there for you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move along in these elections, we have to look at the team that we are presenting to you. The leader of this party is the Honorable Mark Brantley. And the reason why I'm going to touch the Honorable Mark Brantley is because I've heard some things coming from the outgoing Prime Minister, which is not about our leader. He's not talking about our leader. Some may say they don't care what he says. I care. Because when you are critical of my leader, a leader who, through a pandemic, has shown us that he has what it takes to lead this island through difficult and tumultuous storms, I have to say, anything that is said contrary to what he's capable of, I have to talk. Because I've known Mark Brantley for the last almost 30 years. And Mark Brantley has done something over the last 2 years at least that no other leader of the island of Nevis have had to contend with. You see this pandemic that we are still struggling with to some extent? When the pandemic was at its height, Mark Brantley said to us in cabinet that not one soul who works for the government will be sent home. That's a leader with a heart. That is a leader who cares. And I will say further that when we were not getting what is rightfully ours from St. Kitts, the financial situation for Nevis was difficult, and he would have had to guide us through that. But the leader in St. Kitts was swimming in money, so to speak. He was the one who was saying he has surplus after surplus. We couldn't speak that way in Nevis. We should have been speaking that way because some of the surplus should have been here. But I'm saying that Mark Brantley has demonstrated that he is the leader that is fit for the times. And the good thing is, Mark going to win his seat, and he's going to lead a team to St. Kitts. And then that outgoing leader won't be there. So I think Mark will have some choice things to say at that time. I'll leave it for him to say. Because I think he can speak more eloquently in that regard than I can. But the point I'm making here to you is that the team of Mark Brantley as the leader cannot go to St. Kitts without Eric Evelyn as his partner. Eric Evelyn and Mark Brantley cannot go to St. Kitts unless Alexis Jeffers is there. You cannot send a team to St. Kitts that is divided in any way. It has to be a complete team. And that's why I'm saying that the three of us have to be sent back to St. Kitts to represent Nevis. Gone are the days, and we cannot turn back the hands of time, when you had two CCM representatives on one side and one from the NRP. Lord, they used to laugh at us in St. Kitts. They used to laugh at us in St. Kitts because while Van Samre, God bless his soul, and Mark Brantley are standing up and advocating for the people of Nevis and what is right for the people of Nevis, the other partner was over there on the other side saying Nevis no want nothing. Y'all remember that, right? I remember it just like yesterday. So that divided voice in St. Kitts was always a hindrance to the progress of Nevis. And those folks in St. Kitts were so glad, so happy to hear Nevis Jones coming down there with a divided voice. They were so glad to hear representatives coming down there talking against each other. And I will say to you that since we have gone down there in 2020 with a united voice, that strong united voice, it has been that voice that has presented the best representation that this island has ever seen. And I am proud to say tonight that I was a part of that team thanks to the people of Nevis 11. Thanks to the people of Nevis 11. And let me say, Eric did say by 11 o'clock he's going to be done with his voting over there. By 9 o'clock? Boy, that's early. Well, anyway, from 9:30, you're going to come over and help us here in St. Thomas and St. James. Because as he rightfully said, the focus is on Nevis 11. For what reason, I don't know. I don't know. They could coup until, well, maybe they name Cooper, I don't know. But the bottom line is, I don't know why Nevis 11 is such a focus this time. But I kind of get an idea as to why. You see, Nevis 11 was always in their column. And I will say to you, this is new to you. But if by some luck, the NRP had won the seat in 2020, that seat, Nevis 11, or this seat, would have been handed over to the outgoing Prime Minister, the fellow Timo. They had already made the arrangement to hand over the seat, just like in 2010, when the NRP ran in an election over here. We didn't know that Patrice was going to jump ship and run into bed with Dougie. We didn't know that. People went out and voted for him. He won the seat. And as soon as he won it, he jumped ship and went into bed with Dougie. Well, the same thing was planned again in 2020. So I want to congratulate the people of Nevis 11 to stop that from happening. Because if it had happened, we wouldn't have been here tonight. We wouldn't have gotten anything out of our arrangement with St. Kitts. Nothing. So I want us to be cognizant of that. And the same thing is planned again this time. If by chance they win Nevis 11, some luck, if they were to have that luck, the seat is going lock, stock, and barrel back into the hands of Timo. Because he is the one who is advising them. He is the one who's giving whatever resources they're getting. Because if you realize, every time Timo opens his mouth and says something, the NRP latch on to it, and that's what they campaign with. They talk about $400 million. And if I was the NRP, I would have asked Timo, well, when you going to send the rest to us? Because you owe us money. As a proud Nevision, the first thing that they should have said to Timothy Harris, you owe the people of Nevis money, give us our balance and let us go do what we have to do. But instead of asking for the rest of our money, they join with him. Where the money gone? Well, we're not going to tell them where the money gone. We don't have to tell us all where the money gone, because if you can see all up and down Nevis, you have seen the development that has occurred out of that money. And I can rattle off all of those things off my tongue tonight. Because when the first 10 million came, we went and built a kitchen up there at Joycelyn Libert Primary School. We went down to the Tender Pier and extended it. That is down in Charlestown. We went over there to the water taxi and built that facility. We went over to Long Point and bought communication systems for the port. We also built the Treasure Building in Charlestown. We did work up at the hospital. We did road project down Hampton Road, up at Charles Road. We did whole road projects up at Gracious. We went all the way down to, where's we went? We went all over the place. We went all over the place. We did housing. Housing was brought all up to the people all up and down Nevis. And I can't understand how people can be so silly, so gullible, and so foolish as divisions to accept this nonsense that comes out of Bastille from the outgoing Prime Minister. But since I touch on housing, let me touch on housing for a bit. Because I've told the Honorable Mark Brantley, when the next set of money comes, I need an additional $25 million to bring housing to the people, young men and young women, that is, all up and down Nevis. And why I say that is because in 2016, we borrowed $25 million from the Social Security Board. And we were able to build just about 83 or 84 houses for young men and young women, all up and down Nevis. The first phase up here at Maddens was done. We went over to Cherry Gardens. We went down to New River. We went up to Craddock Road. We went all over Nevis and built houses. The reason why I'm touching on housing is because we believe that the young men and young women of this island should own a piece of the rock. They must have somewhere to call home. They must have that key to open a door and call that property theirs. And I am proud that we were able to bring housing to our young people. As a matter of fact, we went up to University Heights and started a new development up there for our college students who would have returned and have been back to the island of Nevis for 5 years or more. And that was forward thinking, because we wanted our young men and young women to stay right here on the island of Nevis, to develop the island of Nevis. Because you know what? When they become frustrated and can't get housing, they see about leaving. That's where brain drain occurs. We don't want that. So we are thinking ahead. And now we are thinking further, because we want to build more. And we want to do more at Maddens. We want to do more in St. John's, St. George's, St. Thomas Parish as well need housing. And I want to say to the people of St. Thomas Parish, because they're listening, we are seeking more lands down there to build additional housing. We want the people of St. Thomas Parish to stay there, to build their parish. Once you grow up in an area, you're familiar with that area, you love that area, you have that attachment, and we want you to stay there to build your communities. We want strong, vibrant communities all up and down Nevis. And housing is one of those areas that will pay special emphasis. So I'm asking the Premier tonight to leave me as the Minister of Housing. Leave me as the Minister of Housing, because I have done a remarkable job and I want to do more for our young people. So we have work to do, ladies and gentlemen, people of Brick Hill, people of Nevis. We want to be your representatives once again in Basseterre. I am so confident that the people will speak resoundingly and vote resoundingly this time, that I know we have to campaign, but I wish we didn't have to, because our work speaks for itself. But since we have to campaign, and since you love to come out to meetings, we're going to bring you out then. Come on out. And you know the thing ain't get sweet yet, because we got some shirts and we have some paraphernalia to give out. As soon as the date is announced, all of the bells and whistles, them they all compare to what we're going to get. We're going to have some exciting times, because this party is about excitement. This party is about building Nevis. This party is about campaigning the length and breadth of Nevis to make sure the people of Nevis vote overwhelmingly for this great party. This party we call the Blue Party. And I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, I know when I come to Brick Hill, you expect me to talk for a whole hour. But tonight is not the night, because we're pacing ourselves. When the elections are called, we'll talk and we'll talk and we'll talk. And I want to say to you tonight that these elections have come early, yes. And I want to say to those who are listening abroad, you were not able to vote in the last election. But I cannot stand here and say that we'll bring all of our citizens home. But I love whenever our overseas votes have a chance to vote in elections that determine the future of their island. And you know, I want to say to you, legislation was almost tabled and almost passed in the federal parliament to block the overseas votes. That same guy who is outgoing, the outgoing prime minister, tried it. The Honorable Mark Brantley, myself, and Eric had our objection to that. We believe whether you live here in Nevis or you live abroad, you are Nevisian, and you must be able to partake in elections to determine the future of your island. Whether you live here or abroad, you must be able to. I am so happy that that did not happen. And that is why I say to those of you who are here at this time, those of you who would come home for Cultural Armor, if you come and you got time, we're going to make sure you stay to vote in your election. We're going to make sure that you stay to vote for the island of Nevis.
Forward! Take it,
This one. Yes, man, God bless this country. God bless this island, I must say. But bless this country as well, too. That's the national anthem. And that is something that whether you live in Nevis or abroad, it is a song that you must always play.
God bless our country, bless our native land. Grant us that courage to change the things we can to keep progress in our land.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we still have another speaker tonight, the leader of the party. Mark Brantley is still to come. So, it's almost 11 o'clock. I'll give him a chance to speak to you. And he does talk longer than me sometimes. We just compete, but not tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure for me to come here and stand and speak to my good people in Brick Hill. And of course, there are persons here from Butlers and other parts of the constituency of St. James and St. Thomas as well. We have people here from St. Thomas, you know, they're rallying with the CCM party wherever we go. They're rallying with the blue team. So no matter what, they are rallying with me too. And I appreciate this support. So I want to say to you, in closing, in Nevis 9, your choice is very simple. You're voting for the Honorable Mark Brantley come election day. Mark Brantley has been at this thing for a number of years. And every year the numbers get, or every election the numbers get bigger and bigger. You know why? The people of St. John's and St. Paul's, Nevis 9, are pleased. They are happy with the representation of Mark Brantley. In Nevis 11, in Nevis 10, sorry, you're voting for the Honorable Eric Evelyn. The people of Gingerland, Nevis 10, have been voting overwhelmingly for Eric Evelyn since he got into politics, and this time around will be no different. And over here in Nevis 11, St. James and St. Thomas Parish, I am happy to report tonight that the people have said that they're sending Alexis Jeffers back to Bastille because they're jealous of 9 and 10. They want to make sure they have the best representation over there. So they're signing 9, 10, and 11 back to Bastille to represent the people of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always my pleasure to speak to you. I want to thank you for listening tonight. I want to say to you, this is a wonderful island. God will continue to protect us, guide us, and bless this island. And I am so grateful to be a citizen of this country. And I want you to do the right thing come election day. So who are you voting for? You're voting for Alexis Jeffers, you're voting for CCM. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been my vote of tonight. Thank you very much for listening. Listen, we're going to have a wonderful time. Let's get back here later on in the campaign. Thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
We get SIDF money.
We sticking with CCM.
We're going to battle with the century.
We sticking with CCM.
Alexis Evelyn and Brantley.
We sticking with CCM.
There's no other choice that I see.
We sticking with CCM.
We sticking with CCM. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library.
Yes, yes. That was your representative. Nevis 11, let me hear you. Moving right on with the meeting. We're not going to waste any time. Alexis was electric. You know? That's a man who from right here. You know him. He knows you. He's your representative. Stick with that. Let's not spoil that for somebody who you don't know. For somebody who did not want to be around here. They only come in the last shower rain now. All of a sudden somebody tell them, go into politics. You ever hear them say anything before to try to represent anybody? No. Not a thing. They ever do anything for anybody? No. They don't know you. You don't know them. Keep it just so. When they come, ask them, from whence have you come? Go ahead back. You understand? Return to sender. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving right along. And the next person to come to address you here in Brick Hill tonight is none other than the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement. When you hear them talking, whether it's NRP, whether it's whoever lately is Timothy, all you hear them saying is Mark, Mark, Mark. The other day, Timothy Harris on the mic, and Mark is so much up in his head. Hear him. Thank you for sending us Mark Brantley. You all heard him, right? So we want to thank, Nevis for continuing to support Mark Brantley because he's somebody who works hard for you. He is somebody who has been a champion of the cause for divisions. He is the one who has been standing up. He is the one who continues to stand up and say that he demands the fair share for the people of Nevis. So help me welcome to the podium the man who is the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, none other than the Honorable Mark Brantley.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good evening, good evening. Brick Hill, good evening. It is always such a wonderful thing to be here. As I like to say, this is CCM country. This constituency of St. James has consistently voted for the Concerned Citizens Movement. For years, you would have voted for the Honorable Jean Harris. And when she passed the baton to the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, you have maintained that consistency here in St. James. And that is why I'm saying St. James, St. James, St. James. I want you to stick with the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And then when we roll down to St. Thomas's, the people of St. Thomas's are saying that it is time now. It is time now for them to be and to stay with the Concerned Citizens Movement. That is what we must do. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the people of number 11 have had in the past 2 years the best representation in Bastille that they've ever had. And you know why? You know why I like Alexis Jeffers? Not because we went to school together. Not because he came to my wedding in Grenada. I love Alexis Jeffers because when we go to St. Kitts, I know that I don't have to have any doubt in my mind that he's 100% for the people of Nevis. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I hear all kinds of chatter. I hear them say that there's a woman running over here. And a young man told me, don't call her Janice, call her Rip Van Winkle. So I said, why should I call her Rip Van Winkle? They said, because just like Rip Van Winkle, she was asleep for 20 years. She now wake up telling you how much she loves you. When she done start collect Social Security, well, what's happening to her all the years? For 20 years she was here, she didn't know she loved Nevis people.
You don't trust people. Me say you can't trust people.
That is why I'm asking you to stick with who you know. Stick with who has represented you. Stick with who has stood up for you. Not these Johnny-come-laties just wake up after being in Nevis for 20 years, never helped anybody, never done anything, never participated in anything. We don't want no Rip Van Winkle. We want Alexis Jeffers, The Honorable Alexis Jeffers is the right man for the job. I have seen Alexis in just less than 2 years in Bastia revolutionize agriculture in this country. When I look in Sinkis, they had something down there called Bayford. Was left to die. Alexis bring it back to life. We have a phenomenon that he introduced in Nevis called the night market. Now in Sinkis, that's the biggest thing in Sinkis. Alexis would have used his position in less than 2 years to ensure that farmers and fishers in Nevis got their fair share. Many of you will not know, but he was able to distribute shared houses here in Nevis valued at over $60,000 each for free to our farmers. And I have seen him in the cabinet in St. Kitts, standing up, ensuring that the people of Nevis get the representation that they deserve. That is why I have absolute confidence this evening that I am not going back to Bastia without Alexis Jeffers. I don't even need to speak about Eric Evelyn because in number 10 there will be a landslide. They take up some young fella, send him up there to be a sacrificial lamb. And I will tell you about that young fella. He wanted to run for CCM, you know. I want you to know. Send big message to me about he want to be my candidate. I said, my candidate where? We are serious people in this party, you know. And we understand that serious times in which we live demand serious attention from serious people. So for him, I said to you tonight that NRP was not his first choice. NRP was his last resort. So we not got to study he. It will be a landslide victory in number 10. And then we get to number 9. St. John's and St. Paul's. And I just want to say tonight how grateful I have been and how grateful I continue to be that the people of number 9 since August of 2007, some 15 years ago, have stayed with the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley.
One bag of gold medal pan me now.
Champion boy, maybe. DJ play it again, man. Let me hear them say.
One bag of gold medal pan me now. Champion boy, you know the damn thing.
Lord, it's times like this I wish I knew how to dance. I am telling you that the people of number 9, and as we are walking through the constituency, we are talking to people, we are hearing their concerns. I am more confident than ever that the people of number 9 are going to stick with the sterling, sober, sensible leadership of the Concerned Citizens Movement. And I am going to say tonight, as I've been saying consistently, that if there's one vote that I know I am sure of in number 9, it's my good CCM cousin, Patricia Barber. I am 100% certain because Pat is CCM. Pat has always been CCM. Pat, if you're listening, them green frack you're wearing now no look good on you tall. Put on your blue clothes and come home, Patricia. Come home. We don't have a thing to reward
worried about. This party is strong, and I believe the people of Nevis understand the issues. They appreciate why we are fighting so hard. I told somebody just today, if you had representatives that didn't care about Nevis, if you had representatives that only cared about themselves, all three of us would still have been in Bastille. Because all you got to tell Timo is yes, Timo, no, Timo, 3 bags full, Timo, and he said he like you.
Hey, yo, you're now listening to the sound.
We said no. We said no. Because we cannot continue to be in a government that doesn't understand that it is a government for all the people. We cannot continue to be in a government which doesn't understand that the people of Nevis represent almost 30% of this country, and that the people of Nevis are critical.
Bye, 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 bye.
Oh, God.
And that is why, Mr. DJ, you're 100% correct. We tell Timo, bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Oh, God.
And you know what I always find so fascinating? It's like a lot of you fellas here in Brick Hill, I will understand what I'm saying. Because if you are like all of us, you've had a little girlfriend in your lifetime who has left you. Don't bother think that I am the only one. Plenty of you had the same problem. And when the woman done say she done and she gone, that is when I say, are you done? But she gone long time. And that is what happened with us. When we tell Timo, bye-bye, he jump up and say, he asked Governor General to revoke our mandate. Up to now, I don't even know what he means. You know why I say I don't know what he means? Because I know that the Honorable Mark Brantley was hired by the people of Number 9. The Honorable Eric Evelyn was hired by the people of Number 10. And the Honorable Zook Alexis Jeffers was hired by the people of Number 11. And if you hire us, Timothy can't fire us. That is why.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
That is why we are going back to Bastille soon. That is why we need him to ring the bell, set the date, so we can go back to Church Street to represent our people.
Better days are coming, change your ways.
Are you going to fire me and you don't hire me? How you going to fire me and you don't hire me? And that has been the problem. But I will point out something to you all, and I hope you all are paying attention. Timothy Harris mashed up the government. Timothy Harris decided to dissolve in Parliament and say firing 6, the elected majority. But look at the joke now. Timothy Harris was the only one who wasn't prepared for an election. Because the minute he said that CCM was out, CCM had already said we were out, CCM was already ready. I'm happy Alexis talk about we new clothes, and we new whistle, and we new bell, and we knew everything, because we got brand new everything for everybody. We're ready long time. And that is why we want the bell to ring. We need a date. We need a date. We need a date because Freedom Day is coming for the people of our country.
Give me no soup, give me no star. You're pushing your luck too far.
I am telling you, he mashed up the government and he not ready. He tried to buy time. He has put forward a set of candidates that says the worst slate anybody in the country has ever seen. The worst. Them days like when you got a cricket match. You got a cricket match. And when you're going down the road, the match start 10. And you only got 8 fellas. So you see somebody on the side of the road, you say, boy, come. You see a little fella sit up on the porch, he said, come. You meet a man coming from Dick's Bar, you tell him, boy, come. Because you need to get to 11. That's why you call make up make-up team, because when I look at them, it's the worst team ever put before the people of this country. Compare that to the CCM team. Compare that to the team that the Concerned Citizens Movement has brought. Compare that to the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who has been here with you. You know, I spoke to Alexis recently and he was telling me all the things that he has been involved with in this constituency long before politics. AYPA, cricket, 4-H. He even said he used to run a nightclub. You all know he was a nightclub manager? He was a businessman, employed people, was involved in his community, not like Rip Van Winkle who just wake up after 20 years. And so we must stick with who we know and who we have been accustomed to and who has consistently shown that they represent you. This afternoon, we had an important meeting. And we spoke to some youngsters in the Hamilton area here in Nevis. And the youngsters were commenting on the unfairness of this country and how the country is currently structured. And I committed to them that it has to change. Many of you would have heard of this peace program. It is possible that some youngsters right here in Brick Hill might be part of or know of that program. The peace program was voted for by us, the CCM, in the cabinet. And the program was designed to do something very simple. It was designed to give young people an alternative pathway, to say to them that we will seek to make resources available so that you can have a different life. And it has worked because we see that violent crime is down dramatically in the country. We are no longer concerned or afraid about going out at nights. And that is important because, Eric, Culturama is coming. The biggest Culturama ever is on its way. So the peace program is an important program. You know what they started to do? They started to go around and tell the youngsters, CCM gonna stop the program. Well, how we could stop what we start? How we could stop what we start? But as I spoke to the youngsters this afternoon, hear what happened. They told Nevis that if there were youngsters on the peace program, if there were youngsters on the peace program, that those youngsters had to choose. They could either be on the peace program or they could be on the STEP program, but they can't be on both. And so the youngsters in Nevis, since October last year, were taking off one program or the other. They had to make a choice. However, their counterparts in St. Kitts never had to make any such choice. So in St. Kitts, the youngsters down there, them on STEP, them on peace, and some of them on PAP too. But in Nevis, their counterparts in Nevis are being told, you must do one or the other. You can't get both. When we talk about fairness in this country, fairness also means that we must ensure that one rule applies to everybody. That what applies in Nevis applies in St. Kitts and vice versa. That is why I am proud tonight to say that in a few short weeks, when we go back to Church Street, Nevis and the CCM will ensure that we have our own peace program, our own PAP program, our own STEP program in Nevis.
We sticking with we CCM party to fight for Green City.
The are best managed by Nevisions, Funny Visions. Eric Evelyn, get ready. Because Eric has been the best minister with responsibility for social services that we've ever had. Alexis says he wants 25 million for more housing. Eric, I don't know how much you want. Eric, you can't get 50, Lord. Lord, Eric. Eric, what I can assure you is that you will have a huge role to play to ensure that these programs are implemented in Nevis by divisions, for divisions. And I make that commitment here in Brick Hill tonight. So young people, you don't have to be concerned or afraid. We are about equal opportunity. We are about ensuring that we have the mechanisms in place to benefit all of our people, not some, but all.
And equal rights and justice.
That is what we are about. And I don't understand why an argument that is so simple, an argument which merely says that our people deserve to be treated fairly, our people deserve to be treated equitably, why that argument is creating so much consternation, so much anxiety in the hearts of some. And I agree wholeheartedly with the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. If anybody's coming to you asking for your vote, and they're not talking about standing up for Nevis, they're not talking about ensuring that the young men and women in Brick Hill and all over this great parish of St. James, and the young men and women all over the great parishes of St. Thomas's and St. Paul's and St. John's and St. George, if they're not talking about all of us getting our fair share, then they're not for Nevis. And they're not for you. And I have no difficulty in asking you to support the CCM team because we have been consistent in our appeal. Now they ask all the time, because you see, Timothy Harris has sent a script over for the NRP. He sent a little money, and like the old people say, chucky in a piece of paper, say, when I talk about this. So they're saying now, oh, CCM get 400 million, what happened to it? And I said, now I understand why they asked the question, because if their leader was asleep for 20 years, she missed everything.
While you're talking and talking and talking about me, I'll be pressing on, doing my thing.
She missed everything, because how you could be living in Nevis and not see where the money has gone? How? I want to share with you this evening, you know. Bricky, listen to me. We had 2 years of the first global pandemic that the world has seen in over 100 years. I am standing here as the Premier of Nevis tonight and the leader of CCM by the grace of God. Because the truth be told, that when we sat in the cabinet and everybody was talking about COVID-19, we did not know what to expect. When you hear airport close, ports close, all of us were locked down, couldn't move about. The economy was brought to a halt. If you have an economy based on tourism and no tourists can come, what does that mean? Montpellier closed, Golden Rock Hotel closed, Hermitage, Wally, Four Seasons, thousands of people out of work. And we had to manage this crisis, a crisis that no leader in the history of Nevis has ever had to deal with. And here we are today. Nevis is still standing and standing proud.
We stand strong. Yeah, we stand strong.
So you say you don't know where the money has gone? Well, you don't see that Nevis is still standing? Well, how do you think Nevis is still standing? How do you think that every single public servant in Nevis, every worker for every statutory corporation, whether it was Nevlec, NASPA, whether it was solid waste, land and housing, every person who works for this government was paid in full and on time during 2 years of the world's worst experience of COVID-19. The reason I make that point is I want you to understand that the government's payroll every month is over $9 million. So when you get in 3.75 million coming from St. Kitts, do the math. You ain't even cover half your payroll yet. And you have Rip Van Winkle, who was sleeping through all of that, asking, where the money gone? Well, the money gone into paying salaries and wages to make sure that the Nevisian people continued to have an income in the world's worst pandemic. The money went into the Newcastle Police and Fire Station. The money went into the water taxi pier, which just last couple of weekends ago for the music festival, we had over 8,000 passengers moving through the water taxi pier and the paint house. The money went into Van Samry Airport to fix the runway and to do work on the terminal for new equipment. The money went into NASPA for new equipment. The money went into a Joyston Liebert primary kitchen. The money went into a new treasury building. The money went into CCTV. The money went into providing social safety nets for our people. The money went into housing in Maddens, housing in Rices, housing in Craddock Road, housing in Hamilton, housing in Cherry. The money went into roads, in Butlers, in Henley Park, in Brownhill, in Braziers, in Shaw's Road, in Craddock Road, in Government Road. You have to have been fast asleep, like Rip Van Winkle, if you have not seen what is happening in Nevis. And along the way, we provided scholarships to our young people to go and study. We provided support for their training. We provided a $5 million fund so that women and youth could borrow up to $100,000 to start their small business. All of that we did if you want to play. And every step of the way, we demonstrated that we were with our people. I am standing here tonight, and I am proud that throughout the COVID-19 pandemic for 20 months, I did not take any salary or benefits as Premier of Nevis. You know why? I wanted to show the people of Nevis that I understood that we were in a difficult period and that their pain is my pain, because that's what a good leader must do. And I was not alone. I was not alone, because the other members of the cabinet all took a pay cut. All of them had reduced allowances during this period. And I'm proud that I lead such a team that always puts Nevis first. And so they say, when you get your fair share, and you notice I don't say if, I say when we get our money, because long time King Bingy said we want SIDF money. And when we get our money, I am saying that there's more housing that Alexis wants to build. He has been the best housing minister that we have ever seen in this country. There is more expansion to the agricultural sector that he wants to bring. I hear him talking about broiler industry. Poor me never know what broiler mean. All the man mean is chicken meat. Chicken, instead he say he want to get people to grow chicken for eating. He said he have a broiler industry. Well, now everybody know broiler industry mean that you're going to grow chickens chickens. And we want a chicken industry, a broiler industry here in Nevis. That money will help us to establish that. And the proposal is so beautiful. We want farmers to get involved and then bring the chickens to the slaughterhouse so that the government slaughterhouse can do that, create the parts. Could you imagine what it would be like here to have fresh local chicken every day instead of all these imports we're bringing into the country? What are we going to do with these resources when we get our money? We are talking about building a highway along the south coast to connect Long Point to Gingerland. Thousands of acres of land over there will be opened up for development. We are talking finally about separating the sixth form from the CSS and allowing our young people in Nevis to have their own college of further education. We are talking about more scholarship opportunities for our young people. More scholarship opportunities for our young people. More training opportunities for our young people. One of the things that they have done in Sinkets is they've removed now the economic costs that we used to pay at UWI for our students. We are saying that that economic cost has to be restored. And that families must have the comfort of knowing that when their students go to Barbados or to Jamaica or to Trinidad to study, that the economic cost is paid. We have made it clear that no student loan or development bank must be more than 5%. It is unconscionable that in the year of our Lord, 2022, it is unconscionable that in the year of our Lord, 2022, that development bank is still charging some students up to 11% on a student loan. Well, Lord, when you borrow money at 11%, you will be old like Rip Van Winkle before you go pay it back. And so we are saying that we must change all of that. We have plans to develop our airport. And incidentally, they're around with a cataflam say that we sell Nevis Airport. And I think that CCM is like them. When they were there, they mortgaged Nevis Airport. They mortgaged Nevis Airport, and the SIDF had a mortgage on our airport that if we never pay back the $4.5 million that they took, that end up with the Yarwoods, they say, but it went to the craft house. I never see money come in such a circuitous and roundabout way. The money went through the back, come through the side, jump through the window, and then they say it was to pay for the airport lands. All we know is that $4.5 million came over, and the people of Nevis never saw a penny of it. Because if you were indeed paying for the airport lands, why the money came to Craft House? What Craft House got to do with the airport? $4 million, and there was a mortgage. I know the document well. The mortgage was done by a lawyer in Sinkets called Delano Bart. He used to be Attorney General at one point. And he did the mortgage so that if Nevis did not pay, Sinkets would own our airport. And the Vance Amway International Airport would be owned by Sinkets. So you think with that past and that history that this CCM will sell our airport? It could never happen. Never happen. That is what I'm saying. There's a difference between NRP and CCM. A difference because when they will mortgage our Vance Amway Airport, you hear what the airport name? It's in the name of our leader, our founder, the Honorable Vance Amway of blessed memory. And they mortgage that airport if you don't pay. Well, the mortgager will take. And that was the difficulty we had. And when we got into office at the federal level, I tell them plain, I say, listen, Nevisians should not and should never be asked to borrow our own money. Because St. Kitts down there spending passport money and saying to Nevis that we must borrow. So whenever Nevis got money on the NRP, they say it was loan. Loan, L-O-A-N. But when Sinkits got money from the same passport, they say it was grant, G-R-A-N-T. So one getting loan, one getting grant. Cannot be fair. Cannot be right. And so I tell them plain, I say, I will not pay back 1 penny. Not 1 cent will Nevis pay back. And all who vex, that are their problem. Because it cannot be right that the people of Nevis are being asked to borrow our own passport money, but Sinkits is getting it as a gift. We now pay back none, and then none will be paid back because that money belongs to us. With your foreignness, but you have mortgage on our airport. Cannot happen. A lot of us right now in Nevis are struggling with the fuel surcharge. People are bawling out, saying that the fuel surcharge is more than the electricity charge. The reason for it is simple. It is because of the escalating price of oil on the world market. We have to buy diesel, and Nevleka said to us that in the past year, the price of diesel has risen more than 100%. Lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that that is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. But imagine that your brothers and sisters in Sinkits don't pay no fuel surcharge, you know? You have to pay it in Nevis, then I pay it in Sinkits. You know why? Same passport money. In Sinkits, they use the passport money. In Sinkits, they use the passport money to subsidize electricity. But in Nevis, they're telling us we must not make noise for our share. So you must not get relief in Nevis. But in Sinkits, your brothers and sisters over there get relief from our passport. You know why our passport is so popular? Because Mark Brantley made it the #1 passport in the entire region. #1.
Tell them wicked people, fire go burn them, fire go burn them.
But now we work so hard to make it #1. You're telling the same Mark Brantley, you're telling Alexis Jeffers, you're telling Eric Evelyn that Nevis people must not benefit. That is why we are standing up for Nevis. That is why we will continue to stand up for Nevis so that the people of Nevis will be treated fairly in this country.
Bye, bye, bye. Over.
This young man asked me this afternoon, how will you change things when you go back to Sinkits? And I tell him simple, give us the 3 seats. Because we'll go down there, and one thing you can be assured of, we will stand up for you. And once we are standing up, it means that nobody can ride on our backs, because your back must be bent for somebody to ride on it. We will be standing up for Nevis, standing up for #9, standing up for #10, standing up for #11.
Spread your wings. Nothing is impossible.
So ladies and gentlemen, it has grown late. I want Fitzroy, I'm not going to dance yet. When the bell ring. When the bell ring, Fitzroy. When the bell ring, and Eric has to give me some more lessons. But when we drop some of the big tunes we have that are still coming, we will have to dance, because I got something there I believe should be in the long jam for Juve morning. We have an exciting campaign. You all know nobody campaign like CCM, you know. You all know when campaign time come, when we blow up the place, you know. You all understand that this is CCM country, you know. So as I leave the stage, Brick Hill, #11, #9, #10. Let me ask you, CCM, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready street.
We're ready, yeah, we're ready.
Bekil, thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Please look out for the other meetings. We're going to be all around the island, in the highways and the byways, in the villages and in the communities. We are bringing to you a message of hope, a message that says there's only one party for the island of Nevis, and that is the Concerned Citizens Movement. Good night, and God bless you. Yeah.
Increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum, increase the momentum. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. And yeah, he teaming up with the NRP.